Sorry. Okay. So preferably we use in, but here in this case, we can say he's negligent of whatever he does and he's negligent in his duties. No, he was in Mumbai and I was in Delhi. What is the problem with him? See, I told you you'll have to use relatively in and at, right? If it is Mumbai and again India, then you will say in Mumbai, in India. At is for very small things in particular. Okay, so if you yes, just a minute, let me talk about this one. So at will be particular. Now the other is not recognized. Okay, people from different places don't know about the other. That is why I said for the other you can use a at. But Mumbai, Delhi, these are all cities and prominent cities in India. So then you will use a in. Okay, in both the cases. So Pallavi, what is the answer for the seventh one that you got? Yes. So that is what I'm saying. In both, in this case, in seventh case, you can use in and off interchangeably. What, Rahul, what are you talking about? Which question are you talking about? Okay, so say eighth one, what is this tool used for is correct. First one. So Delhi and Mumbai both are of the same importance, right? Nothing, Mumbai is not smaller compared to Delhi. That is why you will have in. He has been ill, ninth one. Ninth one, anybody? So Rahul says from. So what was the rule for this? So I had told you all that for is for imperfect time. So now if I've told you all, okay, 5 days, then this is imperfect time because I have not told her which 5 days. Okay, so it's going to be for and not from. Is it clear if you remember that table, Rahul? Okay, so 10th one, he started at 6 in the morning, right? In morning. Why did you say since? He started since 6 in morning. Okay. You can say since because it's an incomplete action. Okay, but since I have not given you options, you can say since here. But then if I'm talking about 6 o'clock and if we talk about a perfect time, we always use at with it, right? Since I have not given you all options, you can say since. Okay. And one more thing. So when we have different, okay, we have different. So here, this fifth example, he is very different dash his brother. So with different, you can use than, you can use to, and you can use from. Okay, but we, so in American English we say that different than his brother. Okay, in British English we say different to, and different from we say in both. In both British and American English we say from. So preferably you have to say from. But again, to is also correct and than is also correct. But again, don't forget that we follow British English. We don't follow American English. So either from or to. But again, different than is not incorrect. Okay. So I had told you I'll share a list with you all. So I'm just showing you all first how it would look like for prepositions. Okay. So now if, as I said, with negligent, you can use a in, you can use a of. Okay. So here we use for. Okay. So if you read this, The following nouns take the preposition for after them. So if you have the noun affection, so the sentence will always be affection for. Okay, I have affection for her. If you have ambition, ambition for. Okay, anxiety, anxiety for. Okay, so this is with nouns which will have for after them. Then again this list continues. So there are certain nouns that take the preposition with. Okay, so acquaintance, acquaintance with. Acquaintance means what? Familiarity. I have an acquaintance with her. Okay, again alliance will have a with, bargain will have a with. Okay, we should not bargain with whatever poor people or like that. So bargain will have a with. Comparison, again comparison, I had told you with and to, there are two cases, so you have to remember those cases. So I'll share this with you all in PDF format. I've just put on the slide so you all get how to go about it. Is my connection are we losing on connection? Okay. So this is again the list. Okay, so you all can go through this. This is in continuation. There are 4 to 5 pages. So I know this is too much to remember, but just in case if you all have the time to go through, then once you all can just read through this. So if you all have the nouns, like the nouns after which we have to. So if we say access, then access to. Okay, then key to. Okay, so all these words, just read once. If like you can like read 4-5 words per day and do something about it. It is not possible to remember all these words that I understand, but this is just for your reference. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic. So today we are not doing a grammar topic, but instead we'll be concentrating on the other parts of the paper, because grammar is one thing and then we have RCs and we have sentence rearrangement. So with RC also you'll have to begin from the very first day to prepare for the RCs, because as important it is to remember the grammar rules, the ability to read the comprehensions fast and to understand them and then to analyze them is also a big challenge. And if you see, RCs form a very big chunk of your paper. So if your prelims paper is of 30 marks, so 8 to 10 marks, or in the range of 8 to 10, you will have RCs. Okay, then again you will have sentence rearrangement. So for RC and for sentence rearrangement, you all should be habituated to read a lot of English content in a very short span, and then you'll have to understand it. You just don't have to read it, but after you finish reading it, you have to know what the passage is trying to say. So let's do RC also side by side, so you all can I can give you all a few tricks how to do it, but then it's up to you. You all have to read English daily, okay, on daily basis. Then you'll have error spotting. So error spotting and sentence improvement, again, this is a part of grammar that we have been doing for the past weeks. Then vocab, fill in the blanks are again a part of vocabulary, word usage, fill in the blanks are part of vocabulary that I had told right from day one. So we have been preparing this from day one. We have been preparing error spotting and sentence improvement. So now let's side by side start preparing with RC and sentence rearrangement also. And again, spelling errors. See, now spelling errors in school we had these dictation words. Okay, so spelling errors, there is no such technique with spelling errors, because once you see an incorrect spelling, you get confused. So there is only one trick what you all can do with it. So as we proceed in the lecture, we'll see. So that is the reason I have taken RC today in between. So we can start preparing for that. Okay. So now RC, as I've written, is the most important and challenging part. Okay, because only when you finish reading the entire comprehension, then you can answer the questions. It is not like grammar, it is not like vocab, it is not a single sentence. It is a big 4-paragraph comprehension. But then the positive thing is that if you understand the RC, then you have like those 8 or 10 questions in your pocket. So if you are very good with it, then you can imagine out of 30 marks, 8 marks you can score very easily. So this is like a high risk, but then again, if you're very good at it, you're going to score good marks. then again it's challenging because you have to read it, you have to understand it, and then you have to draw conclusions out of it. So it is challenging. Okay, so now the trick is, so when the RC that I had sent y'all, if you all have gone through it, it is quite big. Okay, so now how do you read such a big RC and how do you answer the questions after that? So that is why what you can do is you can break it into 4 parts. What I mean by breaking it into 4 parts is mostly the RC will be given to you in paragraph format. If it's not given, then you cannot use a pen and paper because it's obviously on the screen. So what you can do is you can in your on your rough sheet make demarcations. Like your head, you should divide the RC in paragraphs and then make a summary out of it. So when we solve the RC that I gave you all, I will elaborate more on it. Okay. Again, I have written write down the summary and the important words because it is not possible to retain what they have said in the first paragraph. As you move to the last paragraph, you want to forget what they have said in the first paragraph. So what you can do is, if the first paragraph is just the introduction, okay, then you can on your rough sheet just write introduction and a few keywords that you think are important. If the second paragraph is a little more information or is talking more about the subject, then you can write down that. In the paragraph, if it is contradicting, what is being said in the first 2 paragraphs, so basically you have to just summarize. Okay, so if you divide it into 4 paragraphs, you just have to summarize in 1 sentence. So you know, okay, when you're at the 4th para, you know first paragraph may there was introduction. This is just the basic that you'll have to do. Again, you have to find out the link between the paras. That means how is the last paragraph connected to the first 3 paras? How is it a conclusion? Is it an inference? Is the author trying to contradict what is written, or is the author just keeping his point? So you have to find a link between whatever is happening. Okay, so according to the current and less direct questions are asked, but more inference. Okay, inference means what? There the author will be giving a conclusion about what he's saying, and then you have to answer. So there will be less direct questions. Like you don't have to mark direct answers. Like what is the name of the subject? Then there'll be 4 options, and you just have to pick it and mark it. Questions like these will be very few. Okay. Okay, so next is find out the subject, idea, and tone of the passage. What does subject mean? Subject means what is the author talking about. So in the passage that I had given you, the author was talking about the Doklam, okay, and the Indo-China, whatever the war, or I cannot say war, or whatever the strategic tension that was going between India and China. So that was the subject, okay, and what was the idea? So once you know the subject, what was the idea? So the idea was, what was the author saying about it? The author was telling us everything. First, he told us the reason about why it was happening. Why did India interfere? Okay, and then what was China's take on it? So that is like the basic idea. And now tone. What is tone? So if you have read it, you can see that the author was very much against China. It had put China in a bad light. The author was not talking about China in a positive way. He was being very critical of China. So that is the tone. So see, now you don't have to, so when you solve it, it is not mathematics, okay? So you cannot do it mathematically. When I've written these rules, what I'm basically trying to say is, instead of having one big paragraph, wanting to study one big paragraph, you have to study it in parts, okay? And then when you find out the tone, so you know, okay, the tone is very positive or the tone is very negative. So then it will help you with the answers. Okay, so I told you all what subject, idea, and tone is. Now you have to, okay, so how do you know about the tone? Is by these words. So if you have some positive words, these are just for example, or negative words, you come to know about the tone. Okay. Now in our passage, we had words like threats and pressure, and China China altering the status quo, and terms like that. From that, we came to know that the author is clearly not happy about China. So that is what helps you with the tone of the passage. Okay, next thing is critically read the first and the last paragraph. So even if you miss out on the second, to miss out means even if you're not careful while reading the first and the second and the third paragraph, it is all right. But the first and the last paragraph, because first is going to be the introduction and the last is going to be the conclusion. So the first and the last paras have to be read very carefully. Okay, so identify the structural words. Now, what are structural words? These words are going to help you a lot to find out the connectivity. What I had told you, the link in between the paragraphs. So these are going to help you determine that. Okay. So when I say continuity means what? Continuity means the author is trying to add more. Okay. So if the second paragraph starts with similarly or moreover or additionally means what? He is just adding to his first paragraph. Okay. There is no contradiction, there is no difference. He's giving more information in the second paragraph. And if we have words, the contrasting words like nonetheless, nevertheless, however, but means what? He's put a point in the first paragraph and in the second paragraph he's saying but. So a fact is mentioned in the first paragraph, but there is a contradiction to it in the second. So these words will help you establish a link. And again, these are conclusion words like thus, therefore, hence, in summary, in conclusion. So these will tell you whatever he's said above, what is he trying to conclude out of it. Okay, so you remember these words. These are the words which are going to help you a lot, even in RC and even in para jumbles and what? Okay, so I told her about this. Okay, so whenever you find any keyword, so when I want to find this keyword, when you read a question first and there is one particular word that strikes you and the answer is going to revolve around that word, then you go to the passage again. Okay, so then you don't have to read the entire passage, just find out that keyword and read 3 lines above and 3 lines below. Okay, now this will help you for finding quick answers. If you have forgotten what was there in the passage, these are not most often words, but these words will guide you along. Like your passage will not necessarily have these words. Now, in the passage that I had given you, there were very few words like this. Okay, so all these are just guiding points. Your paragraph cannot have any of these. So nothing is rigid or nothing is fixed here. Now, on these things are just going to help you. At the end, it is just your brain and your understanding which is going to help you solve your RC. Okay, now you can follow either the QP approach or the PQ approach. Means what? You can either first read the questions and then read the paragraph. So what will this help with is if you read the questions, you know exactly what they are asking. So when you read the paragraph, you know, okay, they are asking me about this, so I have to concentrate on this particular part. When you reconnect with a word, okay, that word was present in the question. But then again, what goes wrong here is it doesn't go wrong. What is difficult here is that you have to remember all the questions, and then you can, otherwise what you can do is you can read one question or two questions and then go to the first paragraph, because first two questions are going to be from the first two paragraphs. It is 99% times like that. So you have to decide whether you will jump on the questions first or you are going to read the paragraph and then go to the questions. That is completely this choice is completely up to you all, on your understanding or on your comfort level. Okay. But even if you all read the paragraph first, so I would suggest that read the first two paragraphs or the first half of the RC, and then just go through the questions. So the first 2, 3, or 4 questions are going to be the first half, and the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions are going to be from the last half. That is how you can divide and study that RC. And follow the elimination method. Now this is for the answers. So whenever you're confused between 2, 3 options, you think that all the 3 are correct, then what you have to do is you don't have to select one, you have to go on eliminating. Like the question which has the answer which has the rarest possibility of being correct, just eliminate that. So follow the elimination method. Like you eliminate, this is wrong, this has to be wrong, this is again wrong. So then you find the correct answer. That is how you settle on the answer, and you don't just pick one. Means in 5 options, if you spot one option and you think, okay, this is correct, and you just pick it without reading the other 4, this is a very incorrect way of solving an RC. While you solve an RC, you have to first eliminate. So you'll have to be like, 1 is definitely wrong, 3, 4, 5 are definitely wrong, and then the second one is correct. If you pick second, and if the fourth one can be a better choice, okay, for it. That is why don't first stick on your answer. First eliminate the other options. And don't apply your knowledge to the RC means what? If you read about something, now if you read about Doklam, whatever I had given you all, and if you all are thorough with the news, if you all have read it in news, so you all must be having a prejudice or a pre-idea about it. Don't apply that to the RC, because at times we tend to, so if we have controversial topics, okay, if we have topics on Indian politics which usually are avoided, but if some topics that can have a bias in your head, you tend. Okay, so am I audible? Okay, so there is some problem with, I guess, the webcam. Okay. Okay. So did you all read this passage that I had sent you all, and was it like, could you all connect with it, or was it too long and too boring? Okay, I'm sorry for the glitch. Okay. So now, so if you all did go through it, and if you all did not find being, connected and concentrating, okay. So at times it becomes very difficult to concentrate and to understand. But if you all did, then it's very good. So as I was saying, so now we have like 2 slides. Okay. This one, and what's wrong? Yeah. So this is the first part. Okay, so let's just break this into half. So any half. So let's break it into this. Okay, and now let's read it. So when you must have read it, so what was when I said that you pick out or you summarize, okay, or pick out words, pick out main words is, so when you read this, just take a pen and a paper, rough work, and start making pointers. If you all what are the key words that you'll find here, whatever. So I can see some words as keywords, and you all can select some other words as keywords. But if you see, then the word standoff, okay, between India, China, Doklam, again this tri-junction, these are all keywords. So what you understand is from these words is, see the word harsh rhetoric or psychological pressure. So you start understanding the tone. Okay, now Beijing is not doing something good. So you gel with the tone of the passage. So then in the corner of your paper, you can start summarizing it. Okay. So it has okay. So with the military standoff between India and China continuing in Doklam area of the Indian-China border tri-junction, Beijing has restored to harsh rhetoric, psychological pressure on New Delhi. So means now Beijing is pressurizing New Delhi. So it is again a negative thing. So that you have got. So in the first line, you can write something like this: that India, China, Doklam, and then Beijing pressurizing. Okay, just so you remember. Now you can write something different. I can write something different. But just see to it that you write. But because by the time you move on to the next slide, no, you're going to forget what was in the first para. So there has to be some use. If you invest 3-4 minutes in reading this, you should have some pointers with you in the first half. Okay, so again, if you see this, if you see these words like subtle threats, okay, which are in context with China, so subtle threats to India, again you understand, again it can be a keyword. Okay, this is totally uncalled for and shows China, which seeks to be the preeminent Asian power in poor light. So again, again by this word poor light can be a keyword here. Okay. So what have we understood from the first paragraph is, from the first half, that China is doing something that is not seen in good terms. Okay, so there is a conflict between India, Beijing, and China. So you can just make pointers. India and China with no, Bhutan is just mentioned here. So just make pointers. Okay, now if you see the second paragraph, again you have to make pointers from this paragraph. So what is it saying? The facts on the ground are that the area under contention is disputed between Bhutan and China. Okay, so now this is talking about the actual issue. Okay, so first was just telling about what China is trying to do, and this is telling us about why or what it is doing. So you can write this in the second paragraph. You can just write, when you make pointers, you can write para 2, why or what China is doing, or the reason why it is doing. So what is given is the area is disputed between Bhutan and China. Okay, with India having security sensitivities in the same region. So if you get what do you understand from this is, there is a particular area which is disputed between Bhutan and China, and even India has some security issues with those security sensitivities in the region. Okay, so the problem arose when China unilaterally sought to change the status quo. Means what? China is again caused the problem, and now what is this problem? When I told you I'll have to make pointers, so what is the problem? Now this is the most important sentence. The problem is China unilaterally sought to change the status quo. Unilaterally means what? China alone did it. Okay, the status quo of the tri-junction through its road building activities. India was forced to defend its interests as well as those of Beijing. So now this tells us what India did when the Chinese side refused to seriously consider the Thimphu's protestations. Okay. Thus, China's moves are in clear violation of okay, so again, this is a sentence. In the tri-junction point are to be decided by the three parties together. Okay. So now I have read the first half. So by the time I read this half, I am going to obviously forget what was written here. So let's go and see if we can, get few questions with us, few answers with us. Okay, so the first question was, what is the reason for Indian intervention in Doklam? Now, if y'all, yeah, wait, if y'all can without going to the passage again, if y'all can eliminate. Now, first you have to eliminate Rahul. You have to tell me what is definitely not the answer. Okay. So to improve the national boundaries is definitely not like we have utna strong memory that we know there was nothing given for improving national boundaries. Next, what do we eliminate? Okay, so this is eliminating. Sorry, this will be a cross. To create military stronghold, again, nothing like this was mentioned for India. Okay. Now, again, if you see, to curb increasing Chinese interference. So, India intervened in that issue because China was interfering or China was trying to do something. So, this might be the answer, very remote possibility, okay? Again, to secure Bhutanese alliance. So, if you all remember, when I told you all this, just a minute. India was forced to defend its own interest and also the interest of the Bhutan. Okay, so India was helping Bhutan also and was also defending its own interest. So if you all see the this answer is incomplete because it's saying to secure Bhutanese alliance, but there should be an addition here. Okay, they should have said it was doing so to defend itself also. So this cannot be the answer. Or let's keep it on hold because half of it is correct. So let's keep it on hold. Now, so as we have this on hold, again, if you will remember, there was this word security sensitivities in our paragraph. So either this or this. So let's go and check what was written beside about security sensitivities. Okay, so where is that word? First, I'll have to spot that word. Okay, this is the word is here. So what have they given? The facts on the ground are that under the contention is disputed, the area under contention is disputed between Bhutan and China, with India having security sensitivities. So why did India interfere? Okay, India did not interfere because it was Bhutan or it was China's problem. It interfered majorly because it had its own security reasons in the same region. So if tomorrow Nepal and China are fighting, India will not unnecessarily interfere, right? So the major reason for it to interfere was to protect the security sensitivities, and then maybe it would have interfered, to secure Bhutan's alliance. But the primary reason was to defend its own security sensitivities. So that is why I had told you all that first eliminate. See, you all can solve this passage without this lecture also. You all could have done it on your own. But all these small tricks like eliminating and then looking for the best answer possible. That is why I wanted this lecture so that you all can do it in a better way. Otherwise, even you all can read and answer these questions. Okay, so to curb increasing Chinese interference is again eliminated because we have found the perfect fit for the answer. Okay, that is why C is the correct answer. Now let's see if we can answer. We can find answers for the second. Okay, second question again from the first half. So what is the question? How is Beijing violating the 2012 agreement? So we have read this in the first half, so we don't need the second half for this. So now, what is the answer? Can you all eliminate, or you all want to read it again? So if we see the first option, by planning military exercises in the region. So India was, so Beijing was not or definitely planning any military exercises in that region. So this is eliminated. By unilateral deciding the boundaries. Okay, so we had come across this word unilateral. So let's keep this on hold. By supporting insurgency in the region. Now insurgency was no word that we came across. So eliminate this. Okay. By requesting foreign support in the conflict. No, we did not read about this also. By undermining the authority of other militaries. We did not even come across undermining the authority again. Okay. And now if you'll see, we have come across this word eliminate, unilateral, right? So let's go and let's see. Let's just confirm our answer if it's going to be unilateral. Okay, so first let's read the sentence. China's move are in clear violation of 2012 agreement that the boundaries in the tri-junction point are to be decided by the three parties together. So what does the 2012 agreement say? The 2012 agreement says that whatever they want to decide has to be decided by the three parties together. But here we have read that China is unilaterally decided. Okay, so we have found our answer. So without reading the second half, we found two answers. So the correct answer is B. Okay. Okay, now the next one is what is the Chinese precondition before a negotiation? So we have not read this, so we are going to need the second half. So now let's read the second half. But now that we have read the question, don't waste this attempt. So now that you have read this word negotiation, remember if there is any word of negotiation, you might find the answer there. So be very careful. So now let's go back to the passage. The only way out of the current standoff is through dialogue. But China insists that Indian troops pull back. Okay, so first I'll have to divide this into half. Okay, so where do you all want to divide it? Let's divide it here. Okay, but China insists that Indian troops pull back first before negotiations. Okay, so then we have found this word. So maybe the answer is here and we don't have to read further. So let's go to the question. What is the Chinese precondition before any negotiation? So what was the condition? China insists that Indian troops pull back first before negotiations. So let's see the options. The Indian and the Bhutanese PM visit to Beijing, no. Acceptance of Chinese envoys, no. Free election in the region, no. Or propose removal of Indian forces. Okay, this can be the answer. Proposing a means to compensate Chinese expenditures. No. Okay, so then we are sure about this answer. Okay, so you don't have to read further, and we got the answer. So next, which of the following is not one of the characteristics of the Chinese foreign policy? Okay, so now we'll have to read the entire thing. Not the characteristics. So now when you read, pay attention on the characteristics. This is again unhelpful and underlines Beijing's propensity to arm twist its neighbors. Okay, this is precisely, now remember these words, arm twist its neighbors. This is precisely what it has been doing in South China Sea through its island building activities. Beijing is very good at changing facts on the ground and altering the status quo in its favor. Hence, its neighbors are now holding the ground and more resolutely. Now you all have finished reading the third half. Make a summary point. What will you all write in this point? You all can write that China has been doing this with its neighbors also. Okay, and we got the answer about the negotiation. So the second half says that China has certain traits like arm twisting its neighbors. So you can just write China with neighbors. You made that pointer. Then we'll read the last half. As pointed out by External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, a negotiated resolution to the Doklam standoff can be facilitated if both sides withdraw their troops from the area first. Okay, this will build the requisite mutual trust between the parties for talks. It should also be considered as such border disputes will continue to. Okay. Okay, so now if you all have read this, let's go and see if there is a point of reading this. Okay, if there are any questions about these. This was our fourth question. Okay, we have one more question. So this also talks about arm twist, and this also is having this words arm twist and altering facts. That was in the third half itself. So fourth half kuch kaam ka hai, I don't think it is of any use. So then don't waste your time reading it. Just get done with the answers. Okay, so what were the words that we came across? We came across arm twisting, we came across altering facts, and we came across changing the status quo. Okay, see, we came across arm twisting, Then we came across changing facts, that is altering facts, see, altering the status quo. So all these three words were there. So which word was not there? Yeah, military excursions. So this is the answer is this. Okay, what does the author mean by using the phrase arm twist? Forcing the neighbors to abide by Chinese interest. Okay, so they were talking about neighbors. So this can be the option. Let's keep this on hold. Let's read further. Putting pressure on the foreign nationals, no. Removing the diplomatic immunity of the delegates, no. Increasing the military involvement with the neighbors, or this, because again there's this word neighbor, so let's keep it on hold. Stopping any financial between being given to the neighbors, no, this was clearly not written. There was nothing written about financials. Okay, so if you have read it very clearly, you know that first is the answer. Okay, because there was nothing given about military involvements with the neighbors. Yeah, it is. So that is why read it. Okay, because what they do is they give a very similar answer in the beginning, so students mark it correct, and the very correct or the perfect answer is somewhere down. So then just go through it once. Okay, you don't have to read this entire sentence. You can just see, okay, foreign nationals nahi diya nahi tha, this word was not given. Okay, diplomatic immunity, this word was not given. So you can just eliminate on the basis of words, but do eliminate. Okay, so this was RCs. So this is just tricks, but then y'all can only excel in this if you all read English regularly. Okay, you'll have to be very fast with reading, and these things can only help you a little. But the major challenge is for you to read English articles, newspapers. You'll have to read newspapers, okay, the Hindu and those columns that you'll have. Because again, don't forget that the RCs that you get in the paper are on current topics. So now if you get an RC, if you appear for an exam, you may get it on coronavirus, or you may get it on the latest current affairs. So again, if you knew about this Doklam India China, if you have read about it before, you have an idea about. So Doklam is not a new word to you. Or this India China problem is not a new word to you. So you know about these words and what is happening. So that is why you'll have to read. Okay. So now para jumbles. So para jumbles are given you all will be given around 5 sentences, and you have to arrange it. So now how to arrange it? This is again a little tricky, okay? Because you all, for what is correct for you all may not be, the exact answer. This is very confusing. So to make it a little easy, what you all can do is, first of all, find the starting word and the ending word. Okay, so first, if you want to find a starting word may there'll always be introduction. Okay, it is going to be an opening sentence. There will be no abbreviations in the starting word. There will be no words like because, those conclusion words, because, thus, therefore, or continuity words. All these words, structural words. Wait, just give me a minute. Your opening sentence will never have words like this. These are all words for a link. So then what you have to do is find the opening sentence. The opening sentence is always going to be where the subject is introduced. Then look for abbreviations and full forms, because if it's an abbreviation, it will not be used in the first sentence. If I say if I say MU, and then if I talk about Mumbai University, then in the first sentence I'm going to write Mumbai University. In the second sentence I can say MU. Then I don't have to repeat Mumbai University, but in the first sentence I cannot never say MU. I have to tell the reader I'm talking about Mumbai University. So abbreviations will never be in the first sentence. Look for structural words. Again, structural words will never be in the first sentence. Then look for chronology. What I mean about chronology is, look for births, deaths, days, and dates. Means if you're talking about Abdul Kalam, okay, the passage is about him, then it's always going to be about his birth first, then about his life, and then about his death. Okay, then look at dates. If that topic is something about history, then if they write some event has happened in 1950, then some event has happened in 1955. So then you will know which sentence comes before which sentence. So these are all small tricks that you all can use to arrange this, what you say, parajumbles. Look for closing sentence where conclusion words are put. Okay, conclusion words such as they, therefore, hence, because, all these conclusion words, okay, are going to be at the end of the sentence. Same like an RC, these again here are going to be at end of the passage. Okay, so now if you consider this example, NHAI, so these are 4 sentences, P, Q, R, and S, and you have to arrange this. You all can take a time to read it. So, if by glancing at it, can you tell me which is going to be the first sentence? Come on, fast. Any of y'all? The first sentence is always going to be an introduction about that topic. No, P, Q, R, or S. Come on, others except from Rahul. If you see the chat box, it's all Rahul, Rahul, Rahul. None of the girls are answering. Okay. So we are going to have a Q. Okay, so now if you all see, they have already introduced the topic Q, National Highways Authority. So this is definitely going to be our first sentence. Then if you see, we have a 1988. Okay, so now we'll have a 1995 after this. So we have found our first sentence. Now can you tell me the second one? Okay, the third one. Okay. Okay. This was pretty simple, but trust me, this is just because I wanted to introduce you all to what parajumbles are, but it is not going to be so easy, okay? At times, you all will not even understand, you all will not be able to differentiate. So you all have to be very, very alert when you all solve parajumbles. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now we have studied RC and parajumbles, which is going to make like anywhere between say 8 to 12 marks of your paper. More than 8 to 12. Okay, 8 to 12 is very average. It can be up to 50 also, or 15 also. And the rest 15 or the rest 18 marks are going to be of your grammar and vocabulary. So what do we have in vocabularies? Closed test and all this. So let's see one by one. So what is a closed test is? Okay, now I don't visible to y'all. Can we solve this here? Tell me quickly. Okay, so I'll just explain what this is. Okay, I'll just tell you what this is. So now we have this entire paragraph, we have these 2 paragraphs, and we have some blanks if you all see. Okay, so now we have a blank here, we have a blank here, C, and we'll have a D somewhere, and we have a E, okay, and we have an F. So basically, you have to find words that fit in between these, blanks, okay. So now how do you go about this? So for this, what you will have to know is you have to know the meaning. Yes, you have to substitute words in this. So what plays a major role is your vocabulary here. So now for A, you'll find, so if you see the questions are like, here the question is which of the following will fill in the blank A. So you're giving 3 options for A: affect, effect, and circulation. So let's just go and just read what A wants, okay? So if you read it, what does the sentence says is the merger. If you read just this, so A is your right, A is your, so you don't have to read the entire sentence. You don't have to read the entire paragraph. Just read what is there, one sentence above it. Okay, so what they're saying is the PNB merger. If you see the third line, if you can see the third line, this line, the PNB merger, which will make the bank bigger than Bank of Baroda, will come into dash. Will come into, what were the options? The options were affect, effect, and circulation. So can you all come with an answer here? The PNB merger, which will make the bank bigger than Bank of Baroda, will come into effect, or will come into effect, or will come into circulation. So Rahul has given the answers. Answer. What about the rest? Will come into effect. Okay, so Pallavi, if I have to tell you, affect is the verb form. Okay, it will not come into effect, but it will come into effect. See, you are affected by something. Okay. Do you understand? So effect is the noun form and affect here is the verb form. So the weather will affect you, okay, and the weather will have an effect on you. There is a difference between these two words. Whenever you say some action has come into effect means what? There are some consequences of an action. So the PNB merger, which will make the bank bigger than Bank of Baroda, will come into effect. So that is why you'll have to know this. Okay, now second one. What will we have in place of blank B? Okay, so these are the words. Let's just see quickly what they're saying. This is a little troublesome. Okay, I understand your screens, but let's just solve one example. So sentence B is your, so let's read the sentence. So it starts from your right. So okay, it starts from your, sorry. Hit by $2 billion fraud and money dash is entering around fugitive diamond merchant Nirav Modi. So basically we have to concentrate on this. Fraud and dash. What has he done? Fraud and dash. So let's see our, and money dash. Okay, the word will be in continuation with money. So let's see what our options will be. Money duping, money embarrassment, money misappropriation. Okay, y'all give me the answers, which is very correct because y'all have read about it. Can you tell me the meanings of this? Can anyone tell me the meaning of counterfeit? Any word you all know about? Do you all know the meaning of anything else apart from laundering? And do any of you all know the meaning of laundering? Yes or no? Okay, so first of all, let me tell you all what laundering is. So laundering is what? So whatever, if a person has a lot of black money, so suppose a robber or a thief, no. Laundering. Rahul, don't Google, okay? So what money laund? So now if you Google, then you Google for laundering, money laundering. So what laundering means? If you have, what he said is correct, wash away, but what does money laundering mean? So when you have black money, or if a thief robs a bank and he has say like 50 lakh to 1 crore, he has cash. Now this cash, he cannot go and put in the bank because the bank will question him. Where did you get 1 crore? Because 1 crore is a huge amount, right? People don't have, like normal people, middle class people will not have 1 crore or 50 lakhs one in a night. So then what he will do is, this all is going to be black money or unaccounted money. So he is going to take a while. He's going to take 1 or 2 years, and then in that period of time, he will maybe deposit 1 lakh, 2 lakh, or maybe he'll deposit a little money with his friends in the bank. And then once it goes in the bank, and once it is not questioned by the bank authorities, this money is going to be accounted money. This is going to be, money is going to become white money. That is money laundering. Means what? The source is very inappropriate, and you try to you try to change the, what you say, the source of money. So then he can show it as some money that he's got from his job or got from his business. Did you understand what Nirav Modi did was got money from a source, from some different source, and then he said it was from a different source. That is what he did. Okay, so what is counterfeit? So counterfeit is fake. So the goggles that we get on road, Ray-Ban goggles, they are all counterfeit products. They are all fake Ray-Ban products. Okay, any brands, sometimes big brands, Louis Vuitton and all these brands, you will see if you see on roadside or with the same pattern, and they put that LV logo, but these are all fake counterfeit products. Okay. Duping means deceiving, and again these two words are synonyms: misappropriation and embezzlement. Okay, these two words. These again means miscalculation, or you misappropriately show your balance sheet. This has something to do with that. So is this clear? You all gave me answers because you all knew money laundering as a word, but you'll have to know the meaning also. Okay. Okay, so which of the following? I guess this is now pretty easy if you all know that this is all about knowing the words, and then now if you have to fit in blank C, you have to go back and you have to read the sentence. So I guess you can do this on your own because it's becoming a task to go back and read. Is it okay? Okay, so let's try this. This is the fifth one. Which of the following words should fill in the blank E? Okay, to make it correct. Our options are vacancy, fire, retrenchment, and acquittal. Okay. Vacancy, fire, retrenchment, and acquittal. So for E, where is E? E is your. So our sentence is, although, let's read this part. Although bank unions have called for a strike to protest against the merger, banks have made it clear that there will be no dash of staff. There will be no dash of staff. What they are saying is, although bank unions are in favor, they have made it clear that there will be no. So fire is not the answer. Okay. Now there can be a vacancy, there can be an acquittal, or there can be a retrenchment. What that sentence means is, even if they merge, they will not want to fire off the staff. So vacancy, all know vacancy is like you cannot say shortage, but there is availability or space to employ new staff. Acquittal means what? Acquittal means if I blame you for something and you are proven not guilty of it, okay, then I will say that you are acquitted. Now, if to give you an example, like what is happening with this Sushant Singh case, now if Riya Chakravarti comes out as clean and she's not guilty of anything, then we'll say she's acquitted of the charge that she had. Okay, retrenchment. Should reduction in the staff. You merge the banks, but you don't eliminate any staff. So if you know the vocabulary, then you will be able to fit in. So this is the closed test. This is again an important part of your paper. So again, work on strong vocabulary, read newspapers, paragraphs. Okay, you have to work on the grammar also, because at times some words will be correct, but it will be grammatically incorrect. So you should know what to fit in. What I mean by grammatically incorrect means if it was just retrench here and not retrenchment, then it would be an incorrect option. So you just don't have to see the word, but you have to see in which form it is. Noun form, adjective form, adverb form, to fit it inside that sentence. Okay. Now again, this one, fill in the blanks. This is again with, now I'm just showing you what types you will get. Okay, this content is not important. Just understand fill in the blanks or fillers will be in this type. So you have to You have to, can you give me the answer to this quick? We have already reached time, so if you'll give me the answers, I'll not have to explain it further. Okay, and the girls? Come on, use your chat box. Okay, so Rahul is the only one interested, I guess. Okay. The villagers, okay, first one is correct. The villagers expressed regret that their habitations lacked road connectivity and other basic amenities, dashed to the government's claims. Okay, what they are saying is government stall claims means what? Government's big claims, whatever the government claims, as we say na, that bade vade of the government, it's like that. So what the villagers are saying is what their amenities and the connectivities are in poor condition. They are not like what the government is saying. So in both the cases, the answer is going to be contrary. Again, here if you see the word myth, okay, contrary to the popular myth, what you said was correct. Here again, the answer is going to be contrary only. The meanings for complying is abiding by the rules, complying by the rules, complementary, cursory. Just see the meanings, okay? Okay. Now again, this is an example of the same thing. The prince had to choose between marrying the woman he loved and dash his throne, okay, or marry Lady Fiona and inherit the throne. So he could either marry someone he loves, and he could. So if he marries someone he loves, he has to give up on his throne, or he has to marry someone to take his throne. Okay. So these are the options. Now to solve these options, yes, right. You have to know the meaning. So what I'm trying to say by giving you all examples is that you all have to know vocabulary, only then you all can solve this. And it's not one word that you all should know. You all should know a few more words also. I've given the what do you say, meanings of these words. Synonym or antonyms all are very, very clear what they are. Now, one important point here that I have to tell you all is you have to read the question very clearly, okay? Because they do not ask you synonym and antonym. What they say is find the word similar to and find the word opposite to. Now, they'll give you options and they will try to trick you. They will tell you. So what we do in overconfidence, हमें लगता है first they want to ask us synonyms. They ask us antonyms and we take the synonyms. So even if you know the answer in overconfidence or in rush, don't do this. Read the question properly. And again, use elimination. If you are not sure about what the answer is, go on eliminating. This elimination is going to help you everywhere, even in maths, even in whatever, all the subjects is going to help you. Okay, so this is synonyms. Find the word closest to. Okay, so indifferent means what? Precious to nahi hota. It's not even mean. It can be, so different, the opposite is indifferent. Okay, so it's neutral. Someone who is indifferent to something means he is neutral. He will not have any take or opinion about it. Drag means what? To pull. Find the word opposite to. What is the opposite to erode? Erode means to remove something, okay, erosion, and restore means to get it back. Subsequent. Now, when I say subsequent means what? Next. Right? So what is going to be opposite of subsequent? Previous. So Tuesdays are subsequent to Mondays, if you get it. Okay. Now, correct spelling. Now, this is a very big task. Okay. Even people who know the correct spelling tend to go wrong with, and this comes for 4 marks. So this is not something you can ignore. So what you have to do is now, if they give you words, you can just do one thing. Just don't read it with concentration. Like just have a glance at it, and then in your answer sheet, in your rough sheet, just write down what you think. So if you know it's dictionary, don't try choosing what you think is correct. Just, with one eye, just see, okay, it's dictionary, then you write down what you think is correct and then you compare. Because agar what you say, if you see both the words, then it's going to be very difficult, because in your head, then you will not be able to come up with the correct word. So the best thing is just have a glance, okay, dictionary, write on your own what you think it will be. That's it. That's the only trick I can give you all. Now questions based on vocab. Now you will again have questions like these when you will have to come up with the correct vocabulary. Okay. And then if it's A or B, yeah. Then you have to come up with A, B, like you have to come up with the answer. So if it's a or, then you have to mark A. It's like that. I hope you all are accustomed to this. And you can solve this on your own. The answer to this is A triple B. If you'll solve it later. So let me tell you all first, okay. So an actor's performance depends on his ability to memorize the lines and the cues. This cue is a line, okay. This cue is means wo jo line hoti hai wo line. This is not error spotting. They have given you two options and you have to decide the correct word. So this is vocabulary. Okay. So your cues to incorrect hai. So cues is going to be correct. But if you all don't know the meaning of cues means gestures. Okay. But you can easily come up with the right answer because cues to hone hi nahi wala. Lines to it's not going to be the answer. So first is A. So since first is A, this is eliminated. Okay. The project failed because of the shortcomings inherent in our approach. Now, innate is something that you are born with, and inherent is something that is permanent, okay, or that comes to you from your ancestors. So the project failed because of the shortcomings innate in our approach. So our approach was not born with some shortcomings, but the shortcomings were permanent in our approach. Okay, so it's going to be inherent here. And if you're not sure about this, you can keep this on hold, because if you know the other two, you can still come up with an answer. You may be able to come up with an answer. Okay. So अगर ये समझा तो you mark it, नहीं समझा तो keep it on hold. No wonder is a doctor's entire linear or lineage has been associated with medical science. Now linear means what? In a straight line. और lineage मतलब क्या होता है? Lineage मतलब क्या होता है? So when I say grandfather, father, and the son, this is called lineage. Okay. Because his entire lineage has been associated with medical science, means his entire family and his ancestors were in medical science. So you're very sure of. So it's A dash B if you're not sure of the second one. What's the last one? Evolutionary science established between human beings and simians, especially monkeys and apes. Now we say we have evolved from monkeys, but the correct terms is apes. It's B here. So last में तो दो B है. So we either this can be the answer or this can be the answer. ये तो eliminate हो गया because last में B नहीं है. So out of this, now you have to make a choice. Now you will have to know the meaning of this. Only then you can get the correct answer. So the correct answer is inherent here. So this is going to be your answer. Okay. Now this is we are near the end. Okay. So let me tell you all phrasal verbs. So what are phrasal verbs? When you have a verb and you have a preposition, just 2-3 minutes last. Just bear with me. Okay? So when you have a verb and you have a preposition, then the meaning of the verb is changed. Means look, what does look mean? To see or to watch. Okay, but when you have look into the matter, means she is investigating the matter. Look after means what? I looked after my grandmother, means I took care. Okay, so look after means take care. Look at means again look at something means watch or see. Look through the papers means what? Review, or you read them once. So that means review. So these are phrasal verbs. So first understand what phrasal verbs are. Then there is again an example. Ask means to obtain an answer. Ask after means what? Ask after means to ask about the well-being or how that person is. So my mom asked after you, means my mom was asking how you are. Ask for means again request. So break down, break into, break out. You can read this, okay, when I share the slides. Now next is phrase replacement. Now once you have understood what phrasal verbs are, this is phrase replacement. So this is completely correct. They'll give you a sentence where this is completely correct, but you'll have to replace it with something similar. So now if you know the meaning, then you can quickly tick it. But if you don't know, so what the sentence says is we should give a wide berth to bad characters. Now they're talking about bad characters. So bad is something that you don't want to promote. So let's see, keep away from. Yeah, we can keep away from bad characters. This might be the answer. Publicly condemn. Publicly condemn means publicly humiliate. So again, why to publicly humiliate bad characters? So this holds a very little chance. None of these, so let's eliminate this. Not sympathize with. So why should we not sympathize? There is no need to be so negative about bad characters. You can sympathize with them a little, okay? If you all have seen Joker, then there is a reason why bad characters exist. So again, this is not the answer. Give publicity to, you don't have to give publicity to bad characters. So again, it can be any of these two. Okay, so now if you don't know the meaning of berth, is again all right. If you know wide, wide is again means a distance. Okay, wide is again thought as a distance. So if you all want to go by that knowledge, so it will be keep away from. So the answer is A, correct. But then Rahul, you have to again follow elimination. Always follow elimination for right answers. Okay, so we are done. So I have covered everything that can come in your exams. Okay, these are just the types. Now we are left with grammar. So we'll be doing grammar every day again for the next, by 1st November we'll finish it, 1st or 3rd November. Okay, so my point of doing RCs and this today was you'll have to start practicing just like you'll have started with vocabulary. You'll have to start with RCs because it will only and only come with practice. See, yeah, so you'll have to practice RCs. Now, do you all has sir given you all any book with comprehensions in it? Okay, so let's do one thing. First, let's. Okay, so Pallavi, what are you saying? Okay, Pallavi was typing something. Okay, so what we can do is we can first start reading a little every day for a week or for 2 weeks and then get into solving of it. I don't know how comfortable you all are. Do you all have any book that you'll refer to for RCs? Are you all reading newspapers? Are you all like newspaper आता है अभी घर पे? Okay, so start reading newspapers. And one thing I'll have to do is see, I am sharing with you all that vocabulary, but that vocabulary is not current affairs vocabulary. Okay, that vocabulary is something that you all should know as English language. If you all know English language, that words are jargons. First of all, those are jargons. And a person who knows to speak in English is supposed to know those words. Okay, a person who is good at English. Now, what you'll have to do is you'll have to read newspapers and you'll have to study that vocabulary also. Okay, so the latest vocabulary, the latest current affairs. So you all do one thing, you'll read newspaper. That will help you in RCs as well as that will help you to build a vocabulary. Or what we can do is now I can see 5 of you all are online. So at least you 5 are pretty interested. We can do one thing is every day, if you all are interested for this, every day if one of you all shares that day's vocabulary, the other 4 are going to get it. Okay, and you have to work only for one day. The next day somebody else is going to do it. So if you have like Harsha, Ali, Pallavi, Pratiksha, Rahul, and Rucha, if you all are interested in this, we can do this on our group. Okay, like one of you all voluntarily come up with a list, and then let's make a complete PDF of it. Okay, so let's go. So okay, so Harshali, Pallavi, I don't know, Pallavi, Pratiksha, and Rahul are okay with it. And I don't know about Rucha and Harshali. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll add you. So let's see tomorrow, one of y'all, okay? Okay, so tomorrow let Pratiksha, if you are interested, then you can come up with a list. The next day, someone voluntary come up with that day's list, okay? So let's compile, let's come up with a set of words then, and I will also share words, but then we'll have words that are currently in the current day's newspaper. So that will help us with words, and with RCs, if you all want, then I will try to share some PDFs with you, okay? But you'll have to read and read a lot. Reading is going to help you in grammar also. Okay? Okay, then, and did you all come across any difficulty in that vocabulary list? Are you all doing it every morning? I get up every morning and I make that list, so at least make some use of it. And even while you talk now the list that I gave you, usme we had words like optician, okay? And what was the other word for that eye doctor? What is the eye doctor called? Anyone? None of you are talking. You are not doing that. Eye doctor is called an ophthalmologist, right? Yeah. So first of all, ophthalmologist ही था ना? Okay. Was it ophthalmologist? You all are giving me self-doubt now. Yeah. Okay. So doctor of eye means someone who has to operate on your eye. इसको operation करना होगा of your eyes. He is going to be an ophthalmologist. Someone whom you'll go to a doctor for eye pain, and he's just going to measure जो number निकालेगा ना आँखों का, he is going to be that optometrist. And someone you just give your specs to make, वो Gangar optician, we all know Gangar. He's just an optician. That is the difference between a chemist and a pharmacist. Okay, so हम लोग, what do we say? Chemist के पास जाना to get medicines, but that is incorrect. He's not a chemist. Chemist is a person who deals with chemicals, and the one from whom we buy medicines for is a pharmacist. So when you talk like this. You don't say we have to go to a chemist. You say we have to go to a pharmacist. Pharmacist is someone who deals with the medicines. That is why I've shared that list with you all. So when you all talk, you all sound a little smarter when you talk. Okay. So tomorrow, Pratiksha, right? You're going to share that list. I'll expect it from you. So anywhere, whenever you find time before the day ends, just share that list. And then voluntarily next day, whoever's going to share, just let us know. If none of you all share, then I'll share. Idioms also you can put. So whatever I want to put in that list, I'll put and make like a 10-15 words list for others. Okay, so let's do like something, help each other. Okay. Okay, then anything else? Okay. Okay then. Thank you. Bye, and let's meet on Saturday. Yes, thank you. Bye.